Thank you so much, everybody, again, for coming to Friday's Heroes Employee of the Week. And, of course, today we have a Volunteer of the Month as well. My chiefs have heard me say this. My staff hear me say this. The media hears me say this every week. This is my favorite part of the week. This is the part of the week where we get a chance to slow down for just a minute, talk about the great work that's being done by our public safety professionals. This is a chance for us to talk about our community and the great volunteer work that's going on in the city of Albuquerque. And it's a great way to celebrate our employees. We have almost 6,000 employees at the city of Albuquerque, and they get up each and every day and they work hard to make our place better. And today is another story to tell about that, and we're going to celebrate that. So let's get started and do Employees of the Week. So let's have Kim and Eileen and Cecilia and Debbie come on up. And Doug, you coming up with them?
Sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, Doug.
Morning, how are you today?
Good. So, for Employees of the Week and Good Samaritan, all wrapped into one, come on up, ladies. How are you? We are recognizing Kim Gutierrez, Eileen Lucero, Cecilia Chacon, and Debbie Nieto for collectively assisting with securing the safety of a little 3-year-old girl who was found wandering near the BioPark in the city of Albuquerque. And this little girl didn't have any supervision, and you can only imagine that could be not a good outcome if it wasn't handled properly. So everybody might recall back in February, local media and social media lit up as we were desperately trying to locate the guardians of a 3-year-old little girl found near the BioPark. Here's the backstory of the women responsible for her safety and the identification, and these are the ladies with me today. On that brisk February morning, Cecilia, a Beal Bus Company school bus driver, okay, raise hands, there we go, spotted a little girl with no shoes and no coat standing alone at the corner of 9th Street and Stover. She believed the young girl was lost, and she immediately started about helping her. She called her bus company's dispatch to report the unusual situation and to alert the proper authorities. Afraid that the little girl was going to cross the street into oncoming traffic, Cecilia honked her horn and turned her bus to block the street so that no cars could get through and hit the little girl. Debbie, a nearby homeowner, witnessed what was going on and immediately jumped into action to help block traffic as well. Debbie then took the little girl into her home where it was safe and warm. Debbie put an additional call into APD, waited for the officers to arrive, and then APD took the little girl and alerted the local news agencies and posted it on social media to find the guardians of this little girl. Our local news agencies, which we're always thankful for your help from the media standpoint, aired the young girl's photo on the news, and concerned citizens shared the urgent Facebook post trying to find her parents. APD then spent several hours searching for the child's family. Kim and Eileen, teachers at the city's MacArthur Child Development Center, recognized the girl in the photo and contacted the police to identify her. APD was then able to use the information they received from Kim and Eileen to find the girl's home and her caretakers. Cecilia and Debbie took their time to assure the safety of the young girl who was alone and appeared to have been lost. With Kim and Eileen's help in identifying and contacting the police, the collaborative actions of these 4 women resulted in this little girl's safe return. All of these compassionate women followed their instincts instead of ignoring what could have been a life-threatening situation. And for this reason, Kim Gutierrez, Eileen Lucero were chosen as this week's City of Albuquerque Employees of the Week. And then we coupled that by honoring Cecilia Chacon and Debbie Nieto as being recognized as our Good Samaritans of the Week. So I'm going to have Doug Chaplin, who's my Director of Family and Community Services, come up and talk a little bit. And then we have an award for these ladies along with our gratitude. So, Doug?
Lower this down. Kim and Eileen, as I was thinking about coming down and talking to you today, the thought occurred to me that as we're here on to train our other Good Samaritans and our other first responders, that their journey to where they are today began in a place where you all work, most likely, some place that has other adults that care for them, nurture them, and help them get ready to learn so that they can be the Good Samaritans that they are today and the public servants they are today. So I think it's particularly fitting that we're here to honor the work that you did, that you answered that call that so many people don't. You saw a need, you picked up the phone, and you made the call, and you helped reunite that family. And so it's just such an honor being able to work in a department with folks like you and the work that you do every day for our citizens, especially our most valuable resources, the children in our community, to get them ready to take on their life's journey. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have, because we have 2 awards, I will read each one of them. This is Debbie's, and then we'll hand them out for all the Samaritans. So everybody gets a coffee mug with a city seal on it. And this, the Samaritan Award reads as follows. On behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your dedication to the citizens of our community. You have been granted this award because you have displayed an extraordinary level of care and compassion towards your fellow neighbor. Signed by Richard J. Berry, the mayor. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you on that. Thank you so much. We have yours as well. Here's a mug. And then for our employees of the week, what we do every week is we have a certificate. This one's to Kim, and it says the Department of Family and Community Services, on behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your public service and your dedication. Your actions exceeded the call of duty and went beyond normal expectations. For the entire week of May 22nd, 2017, you are entitled to all privileges set forth by the office of the mayor as employee of the week. And one of those is to drink extra coffee. That's one of the privileges. So we'll have that as well. But I want to say thank you to you ladies as well. Okay, Eileen. We'll make sure everybody gets their things. So stick around. We'll take a photograph afterwards. So let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. So today's Friday's Heroes again involves the great actions of our professionals at the Albuquerque Fire Department. And like so many times, our Friday's Heroes today were nominated by someone that they helped. And that's the best thing for me as a mayor. We have our directors nominate folks that, when leadership nominates the folks that they work with, that's absolutely great. And when we have a nomination from a citizen, in this case, Mr. Ed Lujan, who so many people in our community know, nominate our team of public safety professionals, I think it makes it extra special. So today we're recognizing Albuquerque Fire Department Paramedic Lieutenant Nick Wilson and Paramedic Driver Logan Kerr. And once again, as we have many times in the past, Albuquerque Ambulance Services, this time Paramedic Tracy Prince and EMT Richard, Massive. Okay, thank you so much for their compassionate care of a man who experienced severe dizziness and lightheadedness while driving on the interstate. And that person is also a friend of mine, Ed Lujan. And I didn't know about this till this morning, so I appreciate you doing that, Ed. You may recall that this is not Paramedic Lieutenant Wilson's first Friday's Hero Award either. In April of 2015, Lieutenant Wilson was recognized for helping to save the life of an aviation department operations manager who suffered a major heart attack. I remember that story very well. A young man too, a young man that had a massive heart attack. This past March, Ed Lujan was traveling alone during rush hour traffic on northbound Interstate 25. Suddenly, he experienced a severe case of vertigo. Worried and anxious, he immediately pulled over to the side of the road and he called 911. I can only imagine that's an anxious moment. When Paramedic Lieutenant Wilson and Paramedic Kerr arrived on the scene, they immediately helped calm Edward down with words of kindness and reassurance. And Ed mentioned this to me already. I don't know if he wants to mention it, but it's just there's something about when you're in a distressful situation and a professional shows up. It really does calm that situation down. Soon after, Paramedic Tracy Prince and EMT Richard, Massive, arrived. It's not that hard. I apologize. I just arrived and helped the AFD crew treat Edward. The team of medical professionals carefully attended to Edward in his time of need, which helped him get through a stressful situation. The 4 emergency responders successfully treated Edward's vertigo. with sensitivity and sympathy, because I guess in vertigo situations, that's about what you got, right? There's not necessarily a med for that. Realizing that the most any immediate responder can do in this situation is to be careful, caring, and thoughtful. And no other medical aid that they could have used at that point in time would have fixed the problem right there on the spot. But for these reasons, Ed contacted the city and just wanted to say thank you for these professionals helping him in a situation that was very frightening, and as you can only imagine, I could just put myself in that position as well. And so for that reason, Paramedic Wilson, Driver Kerr, Paramedic Prince, and EMT Masseth are being recognized as this week's City of Albuquerque's Friday's Heroes. I want Dave Downey, the chief, to come up and talk a little bit about this as well, because so many times, and we've talked about this over the years, they're called firefighters, but they're also, so many of the calls that these firefighters take are medical calls. Is it in the 80% range, Chief?
High 80s.
In the high 80s. So the good news is, with the building codes the way they are around the country now, and we have less buildings burning, but it's just so important that we have these EMT capabilities out there for our citizens in need. So Chief, why don't you come up and say a few words?
Sure.
But
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, much like the mayor mentioned, highly trained professionals from both agencies, both in the Albuquerque Fire Department and Albuquerque Ambulance, can provide the greatest of medical care in the country. No doubt about it in my mind, or that our Chief Crumperman's as well. But this call was more about caring than it was about emergency care, if you understand what I'm getting at here. Mr. Lujan needed help more than really he needed immediate medical attention. And that's what we provided. When we talk about professionalism in emergency medical services, it's more than just what you're trained to do. It's as much about the caring and compassion that you can provide to whoever that person in the community is and whatever they need at that time. So this wasn't what you'd say a life-saving call, but their care and compassion for what Mr. Lujan's needs were is really what is worthy of recognition here today. We go between our agencies on over 200,000 medical calls a year, and sometimes you can get a little jaded. It's just another call, and this is a great example of the professionalism from the EMTs and paramedics in both agencies. So congratulations.
I think Ed wants to say a couple. You want to say a couple things, Ed? Reach around you there real quick.
I'm so happy that they're all being recognized. Until you have an episode, you never know how valuable they all are. I don't think they knew it either. I've had a couple heart attacks. I have a pacemaker, and every time anything happens, you always think that's the end of it. I did call 911, and immediately they all responded. But the beautiful part about it is that they calm you down. And once you're calm, then you're able to do that. I am so grateful to all four of you that the kind of service that they give in, I'm sure all of them do. For me, it was life-saving, because you never know what's going to occur. So thank you very much for recognizing them, and thank you very much for what you did for me and what you do for others. I saw, just incidentally, right before my episode, we had an episode at the Cultural Center where I was at, where the director of the center, who was 7 months pregnant, fell and actually fell on her stomach. So, fortunately, she was fine. But these two gentlemen, I think all four of you, responded to that one right before mine.
Get 2 coins. Get 2 coins.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ed. And Ed, thank you so much for sharing your story. So, as you know, we have these coins that we have commissioned, and these are our Friday's Heroes coins. And, oops, I'll grab that. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
They're made of steel. Don't worry. I mean our heroes actually. It says Mayor's Public Safety Heroes Award, and it goes to police, fire, and emergency management. And it's just a small thing from us to you saying, you have our gratitude, but we want you to just have a little bit of a token of our appreciation, something that you can show the family, something that you can keep through your careers, just knowing that we appreciate what you do, we respect what you do, and we're thankful for you. So Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I know Michael Lopez, and he's a talented young man. And he's one of these folks that we talk about in our community about what does our future look like. And we are fortunate in the city of Albuquerque to have a creative class here that really puts our city on the forefront from that standpoint, but also just a bunch of sharp young guys and gals. I could tell you, and I meet them. So that's why we're recognizing Michael Lorenzo Lopez today, who's on my left, for dedicating a remarkable amount of time and energy volunteering for a local youth education program called the Working Classroom. Working Classroom is an award-winning Albuquerque nonprofit arts and education program. This internationally recognized program promotes the creative, academic, and leadership potential of talented young artists from historically marginalized communities. Over the last 19 years, you look like you're 20. I mean, you start when you're 1. Over the last 19 years, Michael has donated countless hours volunteering in the Working Classroom. During this time, he has worked towards the logistics, strategy, and formation of the program. He has volunteered hours towards the creation of Working Classroom's new media program, and he trains and hires youth artists. Michael also hires and mentors low-income youth artists on his professional projects, his paying gigs. He invests in the next generation of media makers through his mentorship and his vision. He is compassionate, he is passionate, and he is a committed volunteer. And it's because of folks like Michael and what they do for our city that really helps make our city great. And for these reasons, Michael Lorenzo Lopez is being recognized as the City of Albuquerque's Volunteer of the Month for May. And Dathan Weems is here, who's the chair of our ABQ Volunteers Advisory Board, to give a few brief remarks, and then we'll go from there. Dathan.
Thank you, Mayor. Like all of you, I'm sure, I consider the murals in our community to be some of the jewels that we get to see as we travel around. And I, for one, am very appreciative of everything that you do, and that it's so important that you're building this groundwork, this structure, and instructing all these young artists. I mean, we talk about volunteerism in all of its many forms, and when we talk about youth and education and inspiration, we're really at the core of what we're all about, and we just thank you so much for that. We have a wonderful certificate for you. It requires a little special touch, and so we don't have it right now, but we'll have that to you later today. Thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Of course.
Yeah, why don't you say a few things, Mike?
Yes, I'd just like to say that I feel like there's so many people I could say really inspired me to be a person who believes in volunteerism and just really believes in giving. I could talk about my mom, Peggy, my auntie Phyllis, my dad, Gavino, my sister, Gabrielle, Nan Elsasser, who founded this program, Jim Morrison, he knows Nan, and, I see Jim Morrison everywhere too, and he's a person who I think is really passionate. And I think about my grandpa Lopez, my grandpa Otero, all these people, right? But I really think that volunteerism is owning a truck, and that's what volunteerism is.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. A couple of days ago, I went to our breakfast for our AmeriCorps volunteers, our VISTA, our Senior Corps, our RSVP members, and in my speech, I talked about the impact of volunteerism. And I know lots of mayors, and everyone will stand up and tell you, none more than me though, that volunteerism is one of those threads in the fabric of our society that really holds things together. You can talk the talk all day long, but if you're volunteering, if you're taking time away from your life, your family, your business, and giving of your time and your talent and your resources to help somebody else, I mean, that is really what it's all about. And so I just love, as a mayor, to talk about anybody that's volunteering for anything. And Michael, you're just a great example, and you are a talented young man, and we're lucky to have you in our community, and you're walking the walk. So congratulations to you. We'll have your certificate to you this afternoon, and we'll look forward to celebrating your future endeavors, because I know your future is very bright as well. So thank you.